Radio check. Loud and clear.
Hey guys, we're back with Radio Check. It's Cassidy
and
Avani, and we have a special guest.
Hi,
Sarah. Her Instagram's
Yes.
at the Paddock Princess, and go follow her because she's really cool.
And she is the Paddock Princess straight from IndyCar.
Yes.
And that is where we're kind of going to start for today. It's a special, right now, we have a week break from F1. And so the triple header just finished and they'll be back in Hungary next week. But IndyCar is still happening, and that's kind of where Sarah's forte has been as of late. Sarah is straight from Indy, and so we just kind of want to let her share her stories and maybe how she got into it and just kind of how her recent adventures have gone, because she's been doing some stuff, y'all. Like, y'all don't understand.
Mm-hmm.
I have been. I can definitely start with how it started. It actually started, oddly enough, quite like what we're doing right now with an interview.
Mm-hmm.
And so I used to, it doesn't exist anymore. Don't go looking for it. I used to be a part of a podcast. This is such I used to be a part of a podcast. Doesn't exist anymore, which is great promo for everything that I do. But we interviewed, her name is That IndyCar Girl, Ellie, and she does everything IndyCar. And we interviewed her in like April because we wanted to have this episode out before the Indy 500. And I was like, everyone knows about the Indy 500. I feel like if you're in the motorsport world, you don't not know about the Indy 500. I knew nothing else other than that it existed, and it was an oval. That was my extent of it in April. And so I had to do some research to try and prepare for that. And then we interviewed her, and I started learning about it, and I was like, I think I might like this. You're telling me there's close racing, and it's affordable, and it's in my country?
Exactly.
I might like that. So I start watching 100 Days to Indy, which I like a lot better than Drive to Survive, to be honest. Loved that. Started getting very attached. Had already been following like Pato and David I'd been following them for a while at this point. So like I knew some of the drivers, but I got very attached to others. Watched the Indy 500, watched everything like leading up to that, and then just haven't looked back since. That's kind of yep. And everything that's happened over the last week and a half was because I was looking at like, I want to go to a race. Coda's so far out. Like, I don't want to wait till October. And I noticed, I was like, ooh, Mid-Ohio is coming up. That would be so fun to go to. I live in Pennsylvania. That's only like 3.5 hours. What if that would happen? And I just kept thinking about that. And last Tuesday, brought it up to my mother because I live at home. We were talking about it, which led to us looking at how far the racetrack was, which was like, we're like, I bet there's no like hotels close by that are still available. There were. And she thought about it for a little bit, and then within the hour we had tickets. And so Wednesday, Thursday, like rush packing every bit of camera equipment I had, making friendship bracelets, and I was off to my first IndyCar race.
Love that.
So when you went to said IndyCar race, you got to meet a certain someone multiple times, actually. You want to talk about
I did.
who you met multiple times?
I did. I got to meet. Wait, if I
she got to meet plenty of people multiple times. But I will forever be jealous of that.
I did. Yeah, no, if you can't see video, if you're not on video, I'm holding up my phone with my lock screen, which is a photo of me and the Pato Award. I have 2 signed driver cards from him here and the signed hat. I met Pato probably 4 or 5 times over the course of the weekend, and there were times it was like just walking past quickly, but so incredibly lovely. Did nothing to help the minor crush I might have on Pato Award. Did nothing to help that.
Okay.
Absolute sweetheart. When I met him the first time, it was at the driver signing on the Friday, like the autograph signing. And I had made friendship bracelets for a lot of the drivers, and he was like very last at the line. So by this point, I've already met so many that I am shaking. Like my hands are just, it's not good. And I have it, and I'm like, oh, I go to hand it to him, and he goes, I love bracelets. And I was like, oh, good. So I was like, yeah, like I had all of mine on. I was like, oh, yeah, I love them too. And like I asked for a photo, and that I was like, oh, I wish I'd given him like a second one when he said he loved them. Like an hour later, I see him in the paddock again. I'm like, Pato. And he goes to give me like a big hug, I was like, okay. All right. I was like, do you want another bracelet? Like, and so then, yep.
I would have passed out. You were so much stronger than me.
I just kept giving him bracelets the whole weekend. Every time I saw him, I'd be like, Pato, do you want another bracelet? Because at this point, I was like, you know what? If I'm going to be known for anything, I guess I'm going to be known for, like, the girl that just gave Pato Award, like, 4 bracelets over the course of a weekend.
There you go.
There we go. I got to give a lot of them out. For a lot of the drivers, I'd only had the time to make one. Oddly enough, Scott Dixon was like one of the most excited drivers about getting a friendship bracelet. Like I have a video of him and his face goes, and I don't know if it's like father energy or what quite's going on there, but he was very lovely about it. I don't think there was anyone that I gave a bracelet to that didn't like it, but Pato, Scott Dixon, and then like David Malukas, I think loved them the absolute most.
David Malukas gives off very Gen Z energy, so it does not surprise me. Like David Malukas, his time after being dropped by McLaren, and they just like made him like IndyCar just like made him basically their unpaid intern. It was like that's like I think that's what we're all working towards. Maybe not to be drivers, but to have an unpaid intern story just like that.
Yep. Every time I think he's gotten to the point in his career where I'm like, oh, he's gonna have to stop posting memes, like someone's gonna make him stop, he drops another one. He dropped one on stories today. I don't know if you saw it, but he posted
I think I did, yeah.
And I was like, there we go. Yep, classic David Malukas. So I decided that for my next race that I'm going to, Nashville, that I wanted to make a pair of neon pink matching sunglasses so that I can get a photo with David Malukas with these heart blinged out sunglasses on. It was just because I was like, of all the drivers, who's gonna vibe with this? Who will take a funny 0.5 photo with me in neon pink sunglasses? David Malukas. David Malukas will never say no to that.
Yeah. I mean, if you show up on the Instagram, then I think you made it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I fully expect myself not to, but the sunglasses to show up in like a photo dump, and I will accept that. Because we'll all know. We'll know where it came from.
Exactly.
You'll have your receipts.
That's all that I want.
Yeah.
I have the receipts. They're sitting right over there. I can stare at them right now. I'll know. And that's all I need. I just need to know.
So like if Twitter comes after you, you'll just be like, hey, here's the bees.
I don't check Twitter. When I had the video of the Lando Norris cardboard cutout blow up, I was like, I'm never, ever, ever Googling my name or clicking at Twitter. I was like, I don't want to know.
That's so valid.
The second that blew up, because I know that there's someone out there on Twitter talking absolute smack about me owning a Lando Norris cardboard cutout that I didn't even buy myself. Like, I know it's out there, and I just don't want to see it. So the only thing I check Twitter for is to go to David Malukas' Twitter and see what he
There you
posts.
go.
You wouldn't
No,
be
I've been trying to
like,
acquire a Christian Lundgaard cutout from Hy-Vee recently. It's not working
I think
so far.
I'm
But
honestly heartbroken that you haven't
I
been able
know.
to.
I mean,
You
I
need it.
think I'm getting his car, so you might see that later show up in the background. So
I just want the Hy-Vee cardboard cutout of. I'll love that.
just
It's
imagine like
almost a McLaren cutout then.
the car, and
Exactly.
then when you acquire that, it's like the mini one, and he's like sitting in it, like in the car.
I'll like tape his like face in the window.
I think if you do that, if you do manage to get your hands on it, I think you have to bring Christian Lundgaard a photo of it.
I think
I've
I'll
met
have to.
him. Very lovely. I gave him a friendship bracelet. He thanked me for it. He read it for like an extremely long period of time, and I was standing there like, "Oh my god, please tell me I didn't spell your last name wrong." Which every time they read them, I'm like, "What if I spelled something wrong?" But yeah, I think
That's
you have
so
to bring
valid.
the photo of the car in your
Yeah.
house and just show it to him and see what he says.
I
Maybe
think,
get him to
yeah,
sign it.
exactly. I think it means I have to go to Nashville. Like at this
I
point,
think you do.
I
I
just
think you do.
the next state over, so
Yeah.
might as well.
Well, see, you're closer than I am. It's easy. It's
Exactly.
just you gotta hop over a
Yeah,
little
it's
bit.
6 hours
Don't
to
worry.
Nashville. I can do that.
So close. So close.
When
Fast,
is
easy.
the
You
Nashville
got it.
race?
September. I think it's September 15th. But maybe 13th through the 15th. Sounds something like that. Somewhere in there. So 2 months away, and that's not at all hard to wait for. No.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
The sarcasm is
On one
oozing.
hand, it means the IndyCar season is over. The sarcasm is oozing. On one hand, it means the IndyCar season is over, and I'm not happy about that because it goes down to I just have Formula One to watch, which means I can only wake up early to watch racing. I can't watch like afternoon races. On the other hand, if September comes faster, I get to be at a racetrack again. So
There you go.
there's pros and cons.
With
There's
paddock
pros and cons.
access, Arrow McLaren.
Hopefully.
Get on that.
Hopefully.
Get
I'm
on that.
praying. I am hoping and praying that I somehow can manage to get paddock access for this race. I will try my hardest. If we see the snaps from it, we will be getting all the content. We know what happened. I managed it.
Exactly.
Otherwise, we'll see.
Like Arrow McLaren already loves you. Like they sent Sarah a package.
That's true.
and made a video.
They did.
So
They did.
cute.
I made a video on that. Yep. I died. I was also shaking. When I got that DM. I get a lot of fake spam, like the fake Lando Norris, the fake Oscar Piastri DMs. So when I saw in my notifications Arrow McLaren pop up, I was like, I don't think this is real. And I clicked on the username and I was like,
Pretty real.
oh, okay. Here's my address. Yes, please. I was more polite than that, but that was what I was in my head. I was like, but I was shaking. And then when I got that package, I was also shaking, which is just clearly I just shake a lot, I guess.
Same.
Yeah. But yeah, so I'm hoping that previous package holds some weight.
I mean, they have your
I said-
address. They could just
They
send them
do.
over.
They
Yep.
do. Arrow McLaren does have my address, which is a weird thing to think that they when you realize that someone there knows who I am, has seen my face. They liked one of my reels the other day on Instagram, and I was like, "Oh, hello again."
Funny seeing you here.
That's also how I feel. A lot of the IndyCar drivers are like story lurkers, right? So if you tag them on your Instagram stories, they will see it if it's in that like 3 to 4 hour window. And because I used to solely post Formula One, I used to be really used to like tagging the drivers and nothing would come of it because Lando Norris is never going to see anything I post and tag him. But I got used to just tagging drivers. It was easier than, I guess, typing the whole thing out. So I started doing that with IndyCar. And then I start like looking because the Firestone racing account had seen one of my posts and reposted it on their story. And I was like, oh, let me check who'd viewed it. And I go looking and I'm like, what are y'all doing in my story views? Pato, what are we doing? Christian Lundgaard, Linus, why are you viewing my stories? And it's every time. So if you ever see me tag an IndyCar driver, they've probably seen that unless I posted it at like 1 a.m. They've probably seen it, and some of them are ridiculously quick at it too. I'm like, how have you seen that?
They see the little notification that they got tagged, and they're like, okay, let me go see.
Yeah, I know the notification because I have one reel that gets reposted to people's stories constantly, so I know exactly where it is, and I know they go into that and they see me again, and I'm just hoping they're not like, oh my god, this bitch again.
That's like I always tag the F2 drivers because they're also like very good at like popping into my stories. Like I have like a whole bunch of screenshots and I'm like, what are you doing here? But I'm like imagining I tag like, Ollie Behrman or someone because he, did something good. And I'm like, he's like seeing this again from my account. And he's like, she's back. She's back.
Yep. I was like, I have to give it a break in tagging Pato Award for a couple days because I was like, this man stays in my story views, and I feel like I need to give him a break. I was like, yes, you've just won a race, but yeah, it's fine. It's so fine. The weirdest one was the Nashville, like the actual Nashville race account, because I followed them, and whoever the admin is for that, first off, I love you, but whoever the admin is for that went and looked at every single one of my stories that day, through every single one, and liked the one that I posted about going to Nashville that I didn't even tag them in. Like, I had tagged them in nothing. I was like, oh, good God. Oh, good God. Why have we done this? On one hand, iconic. On the other hand, I think a bit of my soul died that day. Because in my head, I still have about 30 followers, all of whom are my friends. And so every time I open something and I'm like, oh, okay, 400 to 500 people have seen this.
Yep.
And accounts and brands and drivers. Oh, okay. I'm gonna go take a nap and cuddle under a blanket and try not to hyperventilate. Yep. So clearly it's going great for me. Clearly I know exactly how to handle this.
No, valid. I did like another collaboration post with Bella a couple days ago, and it's still getting liked because she has like almost like quadruple the fan base as I do, or like the followers as I do. So I'm like, all of my posts like have 30 likes, 40 likes max, and I'm like, and this one has like 536. I'm like, what is going on?
Yeah,
Bella's feed is so
it like scares me still. I'm like, this was 2 weeks ago.
I have a couple posts that have done the rounds, and whenever that happens, it's like I come back every day to more. It's to the point where Instagram like mutes my notifications for likes and stuff. I don't get liked notifications. So I just open there up and it's like 100 new likes, and I'm like, oh, okay. That's a lot.
For me. Once it reaches over like 4 messages, it turns the notifications of the group chat off, and I'm like,
I'm so glad it's not just me. Like I get such major
it's
FOMO.
not.
And it's like, am I missing something? Because I'll see a couple notifications and then it'll like cut out, and then I'll see like 1 hours later, and like the conversation will have completely changed.
Yep.
But there's one TikTok that I have. It was something so dumb. It was like that sound where it's like a girl harmonizing with their fan. I did a TikTok of that, but I did it right before Monaco, and it was when Charles was competing in like that esports thing, and he was crying because he won like Monaco on like the sim, and I was like, what did you do? Monaco, what did he do to deserve this? And people still come back for it, and they're still like, he won Monaco, and I was like, yeah, this was like 3 months ago. I know that.
Yep. I had that where I did do you remember the one that was like the blind leading the blind trend?
Yes.
On TikTok, like in like last November. I did that, and I did one that was like Carlos and Charles, like, oh, do you think we're finally gonna have like a good race? And it was like, yeah, 1-2 finish, 1-2. Anyways, they qualified P1, P2 that week, and so I had posted like a day prior, and so everyone was like, you predicted it, and it blew up, and I was like, they would come back to me like weeks later and like, oh my god, they still did that. And I was like, yep, I know, I posted this a while ago. Or occasionally someone will see it and they've done real poorly, and I was like, this is not new. Like, I'm so sorry. This was not supposed to keep getting shown to you. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, no, there was this one reel that I think Bella made that I commented on. This was right before Monaco. So I was like, she was like, I meant like Charles is gonna win tomorrow. And I was like, Bella, not yet. Like, don't say that yet. Don't jinx it. And then literally 2 minutes after Monaco finished, that comment had like 30 replies, like tagging me and being like, did you see this? Did you see it? Did you see the race? And I'm like, yes, I saw the race. Of course I did.
I saw the race. No, like, I love the energy, guys, but I did in fact see the race. Yep. I did in fact see it. Actually, you know what? For Monaco, I made a controversial decision that when I had to create like my dream calendar, I didn't put Monaco on it. And it's always at like 7 or 8 a.m. Eastern time. It might have been 9 a.m. Eastern time. It's at a time where I don't want to wake up on a Sunday. Like, I want that extra hour to sleep in. So for Monaco, I had gotten back from a trip, I feel like the day prior. Like, I want to say Monaco, I got back from vacation at like 2 a.m. and Monaco was supposed to happen at like 9 a.m. I was not waking up for it. I turned it on. Like, I woke up, I turned it on, I fell asleep, and the next thing I know, Charles Leclerc won the Monaco Grand Prix. It was like the last lap. So I saw that and I was like, I was like, am I hallucinating? Like, what is happening? Because I know there's no way that he's just won this race. Like, I don't believe it. But he did.
Cass, something similar happened to you, right? You fell asleep during the formation lap on a race.
So before I was like super invested, that happened to me with Bahrain and Jeddah. And those were like morning because one of those, Jeddah was a night race in Saudi Arabia. And so it was morning, like early morning here, like 2 a.m. here. And so that was like before I was really invested. But I wouldn't really call it fortunate enough because it means my sleep schedule is wrecked. But I've been fortunate enough that it's only been like F2 races or F3 races. And where it's like I've woken up, been awake for like the intro, them talking through every like commentary, and then I fell asleep on the formation lap. And that's happened multiple times. Or I've fallen asleep while I'm waiting for the stream to start because if you haven't heard it yet, I have to use a bootleg Sky Sports through ESPN Plus. They can't get their own streaming service out there. Like they don't want to develop the time and energy, so they just borrow it.
ESPN, hire me. Hire me. I'll do it for you.
We'll take a little shoddy camera and we'll just like follow the race around. But
Like I'll have my iPhone just, all right, go ahead.
A
Yep.
live stream.
Yep. I think I am the opposite in that if it's at like 2 a.m., I can stay up for it. Like
Mhm.
I've had the full day to prepare. I can eat food. I can take a nap. I can stay up for it. Once I've properly gone to bed, I want to stay in bed and I don't want to
Valid.
wake up. Yeah, especially on Sunday. Like I don't want to do it, which
Yeah.
it leads to me just like the second the cars start going and I'm like, "Oh, this sound is so nice and relaxing," because it is. The
Yeah.
cars going around the track, the engine sounds, I'm just like, "Ooh, this is wonderful." I'm right back to bed. But if it's 2 a.m., 3 a.m., 1 a.m., I'm up for it. Japan, I'm good. Like, but so I'm happy we're getting to that point in the year where like I can see like Brazil, Mexico, Texas coming up, and I'm like, perfect. I know I can do these. Yeah, we're good. I like those afternoon ones. That's why when I started watching and getting really into IndyCar, I was like, you mean I get like an afternoon race every Sunday?
Yeah.
That
Because
sounds
that's
great.
that's another thing that drives me nuts about F1 is I want to be able to enjoy my Sunday race. But I feel like if I watch it at like 2 a.m. or 7 a.m., then by the time 10 a.m. comes around, I'm like twiddling my thumbs like, what do I do the rest of the day?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do
No,
you mean
honestly, yeah.
And
it's
then
over?
like with the culture too, it's hard to not like it's not hard to watch the race live because you get on Instagram, TikTok, whatever, and the way that I'm sure all three of our algorithms are set up, we're gonna see something as soon as we get on. And it's like,
Mhm.
Yep.
what the heck? Especially if it's like I would have hated, like I got up for the race. I would have hated to be the person that missed Lewis Hamilton winning since 2021 and seen it from Instagram.
Mhm.
Like
Even like
So
Lando
I thought
Miami,
Sierra's
like
about to say that was her.
oh,
no,
is that you?
because I was awake, but I was at the Mid-Ohio track. So
Oh
we were
yes.
watching, we
Oh, that's
we
right.
were
Yeah, yeah.
in the paddock as the race is going on. And so once the weekend, like the warm up for IndyCar starts, because before the race, a couple hours before the race, they do a warm up.
Mhm.
So we go like we're above, literally like in these garages above the pit lane. Like I can look down and see Pato Awards pit box, and we're watching that. And we had one phone out with like the speeds and the live timings and everything for IndyCar. And then we have someone else who has F1 TV on their phone watching the race, and we're like watching Lando's strategy tank like it goes bad, because at one
So
point
bad.
Lando was P1, I think, if I remember correctly, and we're
Mhm.
watching everything go to crap. But then I'm also trying to watch like Pato Award do practice pit stops or like change his tire or something in front of me like at the same time, and
Mhm.
I'm trying to hear as these cars go zooming past like down this straight. um and so I'm like trying to keep up with that, but then the practice ends, right? And so, or the warm up ends. And when the warm up ends, I can see them taking off their helmets. So, like, I'm getting photos. I'm like watching. I'm like, this is so cool. This is so fascinating. I stopped paying attention to the F1 TV, right? Because in my head, I'm like, Max is on Lando's tail. It's gonna be another Max Verstappen win. Like at this point, I'm here at a racetrack. I'm gonna pay attention to what's going on. I've never seen this before in person.
Mhm.
I'm like seeing them put their headphones on, like try and listen to all the data that they have, like figure out what's gonna happen. And then I'm like, wait, I can meet more drivers if I just go wait right outside the pit, because I had paddock access. I didn't have pit and paddock access. So we were like,
Mhm.
let's just go stand right at the gates. And when they're done, like they'll come out, we can say hi. We got to chat for them. That's how I met Pato again. Like gave me a hug. Like it was cool. It was cool, right? But so then we're going over to get some food and some drinks and everything, get prepared, and I'm like, oh, wait, what's going on with the race? Who's won? Because at this point, I'm like, it's probably over. And they go Lewis Hamilton, and I'm like, how'd that happen? What?
Dude,
So that was my story. That was how I found out.
I feel like you get a pass.
I don't know how no one in our group freaked out. I think
you-
everyone was just like, once the warm-up was over, we were like fully invested on the here and now and like meeting people and everything. But yeah, I didn't see that. I did not see that bit live. Or maybe I did. I don't quite know.
I got like flamed on TikTok a little bit. So if you know Issa let me borrow her F1 TV because love you, Issa. Shout out to you. So I wasn't on the stream on F1 TV that had Crofty like commentating. So I went on TikTok like a couple hours later and I'm hearing his like monologue as Lewis is crossing the finish line. And I'm like, I missed this like commentary. Like, are you kidding? I was so upset. So I like commented on whoever posted the TikTok. I'm like, why isn't like petition to have like Crofty on F1 TV? Because why did I miss this like amazing monologue? And I got like flamed. Like everyone replied to the comments. They're like, you were on the wrong stream. It's on F1 TV. You got to click the other stream. And I was like, y'all, I don't know how F1 TV works. Okay, like, but yeah, I'm so embarrassed.
I'm not gonna lie. I know I stay on the wrong F1 TV stream. I'm never listening to Crofty. It's nothing against Crofty. It's that I always forget, and if I do remember and I go to do the click thing, it like my TV does not like it. It just goes, no.
Yep.
So sometimes the commentary is a banger. Alex Jacks in Monaco, so great. I couldn't tell you how this one's went, to be honest, but I guess I'll listen to the Crafty commentary at some point.
Yep. Apparently, I saw the clip and I was like, "Wow, this is really emotional," and I missed it.
I get my.
That's what I get scared of.
Get my Crofty and Martin Brundle fix every weekend. Every weekend.
With your Sky Sports stream.
Sky Sports exclusive.
On one hand, I wish I had access to Sky Sports because I feel like I always have friends from like the UK that are like, oh my gosh, look at this emotional moment. And I see the link to it and it'll always be like a Twitter post and the video is like not available in your area.
Yeah.
Like, cool. Yep. All right. But then on the other hand, sometimes I'm quite happy with my F1 TV. I feel like there's sometimes a little less drama. Sometimes. Sometimes. But yeah, I see the getting flamed on the internet to this day scares me. And I am fully aware that the more I grow as like an Instagram and a TikTok account, the more it will happen. But I know there will be one day that it just someone is not happy with me for whatever reason. I am horrified. I am terrified of that happening. Like, that's why I said I will not check Twitter because I have seen it happen to a couple people that I know that like their face gets like a screenshot of their TikTok gets posted on Twitter and people are like, I hate her. She sucks. And I'm so scared that happens because F1 Twitter is like, I mean,
Ruthless.
the F1 community can be ruthless on TikTok, but like the F1 Twitter is a special brand of ruthless, and it terrifies me to no end. I'm so afraid.
Like Twitter is helpful sometimes when I'm looking for like, oh, like this happened during a race, because a lot of times like if something big happens, you'll get the clip on Twitter. So like, especially with like the whole like Yuki Tsunoda thing back in Austria when that happened. I got the the FIA's documents, I got the video, I got the like radio audio and everything off Twitter. And I was like, this is perfect. But like everything else besides the helpful stuff,
Yeah.
unhelpful.
I feel like I will go directly to the search and I search for exactly what I want and then I'm done. I have the alerts that go through my phone for the FIA bot. And so I'll look at the documents and then other than that I go and search. I almost guarantee that if I searched my name there'd be something out there. I don't want to do it.
I
I
know
think
for
I'll
sure,
be very happy to
for
continue
sure that there is
posting.
a me.
Oh no. Oh
Yeah.
Is that Sarah?
No. I know there's for sure of me, not of Sarah. I haven't seen anything of Sarah.
Oh,
mine's not
okay.
even F1 related.
Okay, I was
No,
like,
no.
I was like,
There-
oh
so-
no. Please explain about what happened on Twitter.
Okay, so I have. This is where the pop culture part comes in because we typically stick to the F1 track.
Okay.
This is where the pop culture comes in, and this is where we learn some people lore about myself. I have like in the past I've like had fan accounts, but whatever. So I've like known about Twitter. Since then I've hit my 20s and am not a child, which a lot of these stan people are. On stan Twitter, they're children. Anyways,
Yeah.
I
It's horrifying.
it's horrifying.
No, it's not horrifying that they're children. It's horrifying when they're like, I love Pato Award. He's only 10 years older than me. And I'm like, what do you
And it's like, hold on.
the Oscar one?
10? Yes.
The Oscar one that's
Yes.
like, oh, he's only
Oscar
like
one.
4 years younger than me, huh?
I feel so old every time I see one of those. I'm like, I'm 24. I feel old.
Yeah, I'm 22, and it's like, oh my gosh. It gets worse when people are
Oh my
like,
God, we're all
Paul
2 years
Aaron,
apart.
Ollie
That's crazy.
Behrman. No, these are teenagers.
Yes. Exactly.
They're
Children.
literal teenagers.
Exactly.
But so anyways,
Like,
this is a separate side of like stan Twitter. This is like your like music stands. So like Ariana Grande, Billie Eilish, Taylor Swift, like K-pop stands. It's that side of stan Twitter. I have 3 TikTok accounts.
scary.
I have my main, which is like personal, my burner, and so I can stalk people or whatever, so I can post stupid trends that I do not want traced back to my main. And then my like sports one from my sports account. And so this one happened on my burner and it was so stupid. And I knew exactly what I was doing because I know how I know how TikTok marketing works. Kind of. TikTok continues to surprise me. I watched a trailer for a movie and I didn't hate it. I did not say that I hated it. It was a remake of a movie or of something that already existed, and I was like, does it not sound like this? Like, why is there not being anything brought new to this character? And I got blamed, absolutely god awful, hated on TikTok. I still get notifications for that one, and like it's like every day I wake up and I have the little 9+ on my TikTok no matter whether I check it because it has 1.6 million views. Million. And I was not ready for that level of insta fame for like 2 seconds. And of course it was an 8-second video and I got no money off of it. And so anyways, so I knew I was like I was like playing devil's advocate kind of because I knew what was going to happen when I phrased things the way that I did. And it was a very like the trailer literally came out that day, like an hour before. I watched the trailer, made that TikTok, posted it. So of course I knew it was going to blow up. Well, I was like, what if there's like this is Stan Twitter. I know I'm going to show up. And lo and behold, I did. I searched for this, like I searched the terms that I used in my TikTok, and there my face was. And the link to my TikTok was posted on that tweet, and that's why people kept coming back to it. And I'm pretty sure that's still why it keeps happening, along with the TikTok algorithm just continuing to push it out. And so if you know the right words to search for, you will find my face with the text that I put on that TikTok on my burner account on these like Stan Twitter accounts roasting me, thinking I don't know what the heck I'm talking about. Which, newsflash, I do, because they took it way too deep. But I cannot. A case can also be made that I took it too deep because
This is why I'm so glad. Oh no! Oh no! There we go.
Like I knew what I was doing.
Yep. No, I'm so glad for this reason that so many of my interactions over Mid-Ohio were not recorded. Because so there is an Indy Next driver, and I stumbled upon him walking out of the paddock, and I was like, so the reason I noticed is because if you remember the old like Williams Martini racing liveries, I love them. There is an Indy Next driver who, up until like this, he's not driving in it anymore. I got that announcement this weekend, but drove a Martini livery, and I noticed that car right away, and I was like, I love that car. And he had the suit on, and so I was like, can I get an autograph? Can I get a photo with it? He's apologizing for his hand being shaky because he just got out of he's like, oh, I'm so sorry. I just got out of qualifying. And I go, oh, it's totally okay. I so get that. I understand. I don't understand. I don't get that. I've never driven a car. I'm like, nah, I totally get it. I'm like, and then I double down and I go, I mean, I don't get it, and I was like, great. I'm so glad this isn't recorded, because if there's a clip of me going, I get that, and then having to double down and go, oh, I don't, in real time. And then what was made worse was that I saw him at an Indy Next autograph signing. I realized it and I went, oh my god, I remember you. I just met you. And then
No.
And then I was like, he goes, yep, I'm not shaking today. And I'm like, I wish you didn't remember that. I wish you did not remember that I said that.
Oh my god.
And he also definitely knows my account is my account now too. So that's so good. Yeah, I don't know. I think I'll be calmer in Nashville, but I will be real honest, when you first meet these, I feel like coming from F1, I'm used to I'll never meet Lando Norris. I'm never going to meet Charles Leclerc realistically, because I'm not going to hound them at the airport just to get an autograph.
Yeah.
So going into IndyCar, realizing these people are normal people that I'm going to stumble upon that want to have a conversation with you if they can, and that I'm just going to see them wandering to the bathroom or to get food or on their little scooter, because I saw Alex Palou on his scooter probably 15 times over the weekend. It's very weird. So it gets easier as the week goes on, or the weekend goes on, and I'll be fine for Nashville because I'm like, oh, these are normal people. As much as I might idolize them, they are normal human beings. The first time when they're all sat in a row and I'm supposed to go up and talk to all of them, and I haven't prepared because I decided 3 days ago that I'm going to this race. I was like, what do I say? Colton Hurd is right there. Marcus Ericsson is right here. There's Pietro Fittipaldi. I have friendship bracelets in both hands that I almost didn't give them because I was so nervous and freaking out. I'm so glad that was not I have some photos from it that are live photos. I'm so glad that none of it's recorded, because I had Scott McLaughlin making small talk with me as he's opening things, and I'm like, okay, I am trying my hardest to make small talk, but also Pato Award is literally 5 feet away from me right now.
Mhm.
I don't know how to do this, which I was
Mhm.
like, oh, I actually want to work for an IndyCar team someday. I want to work in IndyCar. I have to get over this because I can't be breaking down if I see a driver 5 feet away from me. And that's
Mhm.
about where I was at for the first day. So I think it'll be better for Nashville. I would get flamed for all of those interactions because I don't even remember what half of the embarrassing stuff I said was because I think I blacked out a bunch of times.
That's
I
so valid.
know
Real.
I know someone I was with like promoted my account to Connor Daly because he gave me like a full hype up like you are the kind of person we need in this sport. We need more of you. I know I shook James Hinchcliffe's hand. I
Mhm.
Mhm.
also know I literally had a vodka seltzer in my other hand that you cannot see in that photo.
Yeah,
So
valid.
really went great for me. Um That's not gonna wanna make anyone invite me out anytime soon, to be honest. I did get a koozie to hide it because I had to turn the can around. Because you can
Mhm.
have it, like, in the fair I'm pretty sure you could have them in, like, the fairground, but we went on a scavenger hunt to find Hinchcliffe because my friend who I'd met the first day had gone out to dinner and had seen him and the rest of the
Mhm.
NBC team and had said, "Should I send them a round of drinks?" And I said, "Yes." And eventually she did. And somehow, I don't quite know the connection between the round of drinks and her DMing him on Instagram. Somehow that happened. And he told us, I will be in the paddock between practice and qualifying. Come find me. So we were doing laps. Like, I had my phone up to see what Hinch looked like because I was like, what if I don't know? He's in
Mhm.
the same NBC shirt. Like, if you've ever seen, like, Java with James, same shirt. I would have been able to find him. We decide,
Mhm.
should we have a seltzer? Like maybe that'll help us. That's when we find him. We're
Mhm.
wandering around having our nice little drink. Like, no one's stopped us and made this throw us out yet. So like it's fine. Nope, that's when we see
Mhm.
him. That's when I run into him. I run into David Malukas with it. I run into Connor Daly. We run into Hinchcliffe again. And so like I'm like shaking vodka seltzer actually shaking their hand and introducing myself, like trying to hope this looks like an energy drink. I'm sure it didn't.
But
So
at the same time, I'm sure they don't
I live with
care.
that.
Like,
No.
I feel
Oh
like,
no.
yeah, like IndyCar drivers, I feel like there's just like a level of like comfortability, I guess you would say. Maybe it's because of just like how American culture works, and that's where IndyCar is
Yeah.
Yeah.
rooted in. But I don't like, I feel like none
Mhm.
of them like would care if it was like the weekend or something, they weren't working, like you would see them doing the same thing. And I'm sure they have
Yeah.
with
Mhm.
their respective teams multiple times. And so
I I actually but I think what was to my benefit was it was 4th of July weekend and it's rural not well, okay, maybe it's not the most rural Ohio. I've been in
Mhm.
places that are more rural, but like
It's the Midwest. Like
yeah.
it's the Midwest, and I'm pretty sure if I'm thinking correctly, if I turn out of the entrance to Mid-Ohio and I go left for about a minute and a half, and then you will see a cornfield. So
Mm,
like
yeah.
it's decently rural. So
yeah.
that plus 4th of July weekend, no one was caring.
Mhm.
Mhm.
No one cared. Yep.
Yeah.
Um there were some pretty iconic moments. We did try for trivia. I could not remember who was a Honda team, and I looked at this Honda guy right in the eye and I said Penske, and he went, oh, he went, ooh. And because I could not for the life of me think of Meyer Shank, and it went to the guy next to me who had a Meyer Shank shirt on, and I was like,
Oh no.
Oh.
yep. Yep. Came back the next day, did better. Still
go.
did not win the pace car ride, but you know what? I did better. Had they been asking me Formula One trivia, it would have been fine.
Yeah.
And you know what? There was a whole booth selling Formula One merch there, and people had their Max Verstappen shirts on,
Oh.
which was very odd. I'm like, a pop off, I guess, but like, I don't think he's here, guys. I don't think
Yeah.
he's here. But yeah, you could buy Ferrari merch at the track. There were Fernando Alonso hats for sale. Mercedes, you know, the most popular IndyCar
Yeah.
teams.
So popular.
Yeah. So
Mhm.
But no, yeah,
famous, so
speaking of
popular.
like F1 IndyCar,
Yes.
there's a rumor, allegedly. Well, we know that probably Logan is likely going to go to IndyCar. Likely, most likely. But I also heard a rumor that Valtteri
Yep.
might also be joining IndyCar if he does not get a contract.
See, I heard
So,
that,
like,
and then later today I heard that
Yeah.
he's also apparently going to Williams.
Yes,
Williams,
I've
yeah, and then
seen
I
the
saw that like
Williams things
later that
too.
day.
Yep.
I personally can't see Valtteri driving an IndyCar. That's a personal thing. I think that if he does not,
Yeah.
like if he retires out of Formula One, he's going on a mountain biking quest. Like that's what he's going to do.
Oh
He
yeah,
will
he's
will
got like
not catch
3
him in a
separate
car.
businesses running. Like he's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
I think we're getting one F1 driver to IndyCar, and I think it's going to be Logan Sargent.
yeah,
And I hope it is.
I'm wondering if we'll get the Valtteri to Williams, because at this point I don't know where Carlos is going.
yeah.
I've given up on trying to keep up with that. Like I was
Yeah,
like, let me
yeah.
follow this. Nope, don't care.
It's not any new rumors at this point because we've heard so many that I can't be surprised by anything. So until I see that official graphic, and even then, I don't think I'll be surprised. I saw a graphic. It was someone photoshopped Carlos and then like whatever the team is for Brad Pitt's
Apex.
movie.
GP.
They photoshopped
Apex
that. Yep,
Racing.
I saw the Carlos to Apex, and I was like, oh my god, they finally announced that. And then I read it, and I was like, I don't know that I
I'm
care
really
anymore.
tempted to make like a TikTok that's like breaking news: Carlos Sainz joined to Apex Racing and make it completely serious.
Yeah,
and like someone's gonna believe me. They're like, "What? What even is that?" What?
Yep. I feel like you could. I think you could say they bought. That's the new name of RB. They bought Aston Martin, something like that. Someone will believe you. It'll work.
Yeah.
Just know that you very well could get flamed. Like that would be your one TikTok. Like that would be your TikTok that blows up first, and then all of like the mansplaining boys would be like, "You don't know what the heck you're talking about. Get out of our sport." All this stuff, and that's what I'm afraid of. Like that. Like I have a right to be here. Maybe not like a right. Like it's literally just a sport, but like I can make my presence known to be here. But it's like. It's like that's my worst nightmare. I literally don't care about Stan Twitter because it's Stan Twitter and they're all crazy. I'm gonna get this is what the 5th episode now. I'm getting canceled again probably.
Apology.
How many times have you been canceled?
I don't know. Our Dear McLaren episode hasn't come out yet because Spotify was the biggest op this week. Like for those of y'all who don't know, if you tried to search for our podcast like 2 days, we like Spotify deactivated our podcast account for they didn't say why. And of course I like there's
exactly. I was on like I was on chat with Spotify trying to get the account back. And I was like transferred to 4 different departments trying to figure out what was wrong. Like finally this guy figured it out. He's like, "Okay, I just reactivated your account," and I refreshed Spotify and it was back. And I was like, why was this gone in the first place? Like, what did we do? Like there's no copyright that we know of.
No, and like our Dear McLaren letter hasn't come out yet either. And basically it's like 45-50 minutes of us saying, what the heck did you do to Oscar Piastri's strategy, because somebody needs to start fighting for this man. And I swear everybody, like, Team LH is gonna come and they're gonna be like, so you didn't want Lewis to win? No, that's not what we said. At this rate, you know, anybody can get canceled over anything as long as we just like stick true to what we believe in. Like, the people who care are gonna listen and not just jump to the worst. But anyways, like,
exactly. Wait, do we know, is the McLaren episode coming out before this one?
It will, yes.
And then me.
Because I wanted to show you the graphic that I made for it because I'm so proud of it.
Yes.
I was like originally going to do like a remake.
I love it.
I had to put like in tiny letters underneath. I said, "Just kidding, we love you," because I didn't want the Lando girls to come after me.
That's how I feel sometimes, because I know how like it's one thing if it's on Instagram, you know, at the first push will be a lot of people that are my followers, and then it'll go to everyone that's not. But on TikTok, it's like maybe my followers will see this, maybe not. I'm like, yo, I spent money on a mini helmet. Like half of these posters are like Lando Norris. Like, believe me, I am not about to like diss my faves, diss McLaren without good reason to. But sometimes they upset me a bit. They used to do it with the last fall with that qualifying strategy where they would like just wait ridiculously long or like put them out on like one pair of tires that was slow and go, maybe they'll make it through Q1.
Hello.
Maybe they do. Hello. They stopped doing that, but then they started doing other things. And so between them and the revolving door of the number 6 era McLaren, like McLaren, I love you. Era McLaren, I love you. But sometimes you drive me a little bit.
Such a good like word for it. Like that's perfect.
Because listen, so originally I think it was supposed to be Alex Palou in that, and then Alex Palou has never been in that car. And then it was David Malukas, and then that happened, and then it was Teo, and I was so happy that he finally got to drive somewhere, because in my like dream 2025 grid I was like, please put him at like Sauber or Audi, whatever you want to call it, like just give him a seat. And so I was so happy when he got a seat. I was like, yes, finally. And then I'm nothing against Nolan Seagal. I will be his fan, like dedicated at some point. I did make him a bracelet. I was so excited for him to win Le Mans. But then we got that announcement. And so now I live on edge of McLaren and Formula One's strategy. And then then we got the announcement that Rossi isn't even driving for them next year.
Like he's gone now too.
So I just I just live in constant fear of the Formula One team's strategy, and the Era McLaren is going to announce that like Pato isn't driving.
Oh God, yeah.
For some reason, knock on wood. That's fake wood, but like it's knocked on. I love them to death, but they do give me anxiety sometimes.
That's me with Ferrari.
Yeah.
I started Formula One, like becoming like a fan of it with Ferrari, and following the last like 2 races, I'm like, can I do this anymore? Like, how long can I have a fake smile on my face at the end of a race? But yeah, I know, like, I was like, oh yeah, McLaren's like becoming like my new favorite, because like they're doing great. But then Austria happened and they screwed Oscar over so bad. And I was like, when will I have a team that does not screw up their drivers and has a good strategy and is consistent? Because it was so rough.
I think the answer is never, because the second the second you're like, oh, they've been consistently good about this, you know what, I need a team that's just consistent. That's going to be the work where like the car just is unreliable that week or something happens. I think that's just like the nature of motorsports, but it will never not like stress me out a little bit. Like, please tell me this week just goes well. Please tell me.
Yeah. Yeah, and then something like one little thing happens, and I'm like,
Yep.
like
Yep.
the
I'm like,
second,
we're
like
back to square one.
the second I heard that they were not pitting Oscar on the lap that Lando was on, I was like, all right, wrap it up.
It's Silverstone.
Wrap it up.
You were like, I'm done for the week.
Yep.
I'm done.
No, literally with Formula 2, I think Paul Aaron crashed and he lost his like lead, and I said, all right, I'm done. Goodbye. I was like, I don't
I'm
want to
good.
watch this anymore.
Yep. Yep. No, I get it. There's some races where I'm like, you know what, it'll still be good, and then there's others where I'm like, my will to watch and continue on has been greatly diminished here.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I think it's parallel to how much like sleep I've gotten and how the rest of my day is gone.
Yes.
Like if it's been a good day
100%.
otherwise and I've been able to get a lot of sleep, you know what? A strategy call won't get to me. But if it's 9 a.m., this is the first thing I've watched. I didn't get to sleep till 4 in the morning and I'm
Mhm.
starving, and then you make a poor call. And I think you've made a poor call, like, even
Like,
though I
yeah.
have no, like, I'm not a race engineer, but if in
Mhm.
my head I wouldn't have made that call, no,
You're done.
we have
The end.
at least for like the next 12 hours, we're gonna have a bit of beef. And then I'll calm down
Yep.
and I'll realize, like, you realistically probably had data I don't have access to, but like,
Yeah.
for the next 12 hours, we have beef.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like to think that I could be a race engineer like easily. Because I'm like, with like when I watch like American football, I'm like so invested whenever they make a bad play. I'm like, put me in.
Oh,
Put me in. I'll handle
put
it.
me in.
Mhm.
I got it.
Exactly.
That's
So like with like
that is
F1,
me.
when the second they make like a bad like race decision, I'm like, put me in. I would have fixed this in 2
Yeah.
seconds.
Yeah. No, I get it. I think what it is because I have an engineering degree, even though it's not the same. I'm like,
It's
that's
something,
half
yeah.
of the title right there. Teach me, I'll learn, it'll be good. But then I would be the one getting flamed on Twitter for my bad race calls. So maybe it's good that for right now I'm not a
Yeah.
race engineer. I'm not dealing in strategy. Because
Mhm.
we all know about how well I would take that on Twitter. So, but yeah, I
Oh god,
stay
yeah.
convinced that I could learn how to do race strategy and be good at it. So, would
I'm
love to
convinced I
do
could be a
that.
driver. I like catch something real quick. I'm like, put me in the seat. Put me in.
You know what? I got asked this question on Instagram the other day that if I could go and be a Formula 1 or an IndyCar driver, would I? And the answer
Mhm.
is yes, I would
Yep.
do that. Um, if I think about it for too long, like maybe I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't think the answer would change. I think if I could do it and know I would do it well, absolutely.
Mhm.
And who would I drive for? I think it was who would I drive for in F1, not Ferrari. I would
Yeah.
probably want to drive for McLaren realistically.
Mhm.
Where I think I would end up would probably not be McLaren. I think by that point I would age like Zach Brown's type is like 22 to 24-year-old like men with like brown curly hair,
Tom
which is
Holland
so
lookalikes.
not me. Yeah. It's not me. Brown curly floofy something hair. Um I would love to drive a McLaren. I would love to have the attitude to drive a Red Bull. I
Mhm.
don't think I would realistically make it to a Formula 1 team, and if I did, I think I would be in the AlphaTauri RB that gets booted halfway through the season, to be honest. Uh,
Oh god, yeah.
I think I would be the Nick DeVries of the grid. Um, Maybe I would get a couple solid years in a Williams, but we'll go for if I could be in a team and succeed in McLaren.
Yeah.
We'll go with
Yeah.
that
I'd
one.
be like
Yep.
the Nick DeVries when he got dropped by AlphaTauri, and then also Apex Racing. I can't
Oh,
believe
I
it.
was
not
gonna prove that up
how?
too.
Yeah. So what I don't get is how Brad Pitt decides to make a self-insert fan fiction and still
Exactly.
in that decides that Nick DeVries needs to get dropped.
He's like, this
I
is the
need
major
to
plot
know.
point. Nick has to go.
I need to know what Nick DeVries like.
Get it.
He's got to have some kind of agent or some kind of like management that they are allowing this slander to happen, because boy does not deserve this. Yeah, his F1
No, for real.
run wasn't ideal, but he's just living his life and didn't deserve this. Like, of all the people, like, they couldn't just cast another actor to be dropped. Like, it's literally a fan fiction at this point. Brad Pitt can do whatever the heck he wants.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, this is why I'm like, how real did you feel the need to go? And is
Yeah.
Apex then, like, is it canon that Apex is essentially RB? Like, is that
I
that
think
where we're
so.
at? Like,
I
or
think it's
is
an
RB
11
also on
team.
the grid?
It's an 11
Right,
Yeah.
so then why did Nick DeVries get dropped? If RB is still there, why did Nick DeVries get dropped? Because then theoretically, who else was in the RB at the time that Nick got dropped from Apex? I just don't get it. I don't
Yeah.
get why they couldn't have either just made someone up and hired like someone to just get out of a car and then like storm off or something. I don't
Yeah.
like
They could have like a
why?
driver like retire or something on Apex, and then that's how the new guy comes in. Like,
Yeah.
they
I just
apparently
hope
have a vendetta against Nick. So,
I hope wherever Nick is that he's getting paid like a nice chunk of
oh yeah.
change for that. And
Mhm.
I hope he knew, because
Oh God,
I
yeah.
just can't imagine not knowing and then seeing that graphic go live and go, I would go, I'm never ever touching a single seater again. I want nothing
Nope.
to do with these people.
He's
I
like
will
waking up and checking
stay.
Instagram,
Yeah.
and he's like, "I
He's
got
like, you know
dropped."
what? Yeah. Which I do realize he does currently race in single seaters in
Yeah.
WEC, but I'd be like, you know what? No, I'm done completely. We're going just to Le Mans style racing. Like we're
Yep.
good. I'm good. Yeah.
It's
Yep.
No,
wild
I
to
started
me.
watching like Formula E recently, and it's like so funny seeing him there. Like,
Yeah,
I'm like catching
I
up on all
know.
the races, and I'm like, "Oh, that's you."
Every time I see him, I'm a bit like, babes, are
And
you
not to
supposed
the
to
the team that he
Yes.
drives for is like the title sponsor is an Indian company. So I'm like, this is even more like meta. I'm like, what is going on? Like, this is so weird.
the amount of okay, so Formula 1, I feel like you get sponsors on the car, but it's not like sponsors aren't everywhere. And then you start
Yeah.
watching other racing series and I'm like,
NASCAR.
why am I now
Oh my God.
rooting for like a grocery store that I've never heard of? And yet I'm like,
NASCAR
I want to go to
that's
Hy-Vee.
the worst. NASCAR. Like,
like, what do you mean I'm
like,
rooting for the M&M car, the Home Depot car?
Yeah. The
What?
Coca-Cola
Hello.
car. Yep.
they
Yeah.
got like 40 cars
Yep.
on this grid, and they all like, yeah. You can't
And then
even
when
say
they
it.
change, they had a
Yeah.
new main sponsor for a different week, and I'm like, well, I was rooting for the M&M car last week, and I don't even know which car you're in this week because I have to find a guide to look up to see. Yeah, I love it. On one hand, I love it because I can always count on there being a new livery, and it's not like with Formula 1 where I'm like, oh my god, Red Bull
Yeah.
dropped the new special livery that's a different shade of blue, I guess.
Yeah, the latest one they did with the red, I was like, what is it supposed to be? Like, what am I looking at?
I
It
read
gave
like
we were trying to one up Ferrari, and
I read
I
like a
mean,
thing where it was like
didn't work, but
because it was for Silverstone after Austria, it was it was the blood of Lando Norris being from Austria. The blood of Lando Norris.
I'm
like,
sure that wasn't it, but
it was really
love
bad
the
timing, I feel like.
very
yeah,
bad.
love the creativity on that.
Mm-hmm.
I will say that was probably the first Red Bull livery that well, no, they do some special liveries, but like it's never that different. And so I was like, at least it's different. But I feel the
Yeah.
same disappointment that I did with the blue Ferrari livery. So
I think V-Carb's the only team so far to have nailed a good livery that's
The
on theme.
McLaren one
Like
was
very
good.
different.
I liked
Oh
the
yeah, the Senna
McLaren
one was good too. Yeah.
Yeah.
oh yeah,
What I didn't
I
like,
did like that. I was like,
and yeah, I've beefed with this, I think, in another episode, but the Monaco drop that they had, reflective of the Senna livery at the time, did not match the Senna car that they had. They dropped like a separate drop for that. And I was like, where is the consistency? But that's the branding side of me talking, because it's like, come on, why are you making everything red and like
no, I
this
get
like
it.
cream color? And now, and like I know why, like it's because like Senna was Brazilian, and so yeah, like it's not new, but it's just like you make this big deal and they get matching race suits and they get a matching car, and there's like a little sprinkle of a Senna drop, but why not just make the rest of your Monaco drop like go with
Freeze for
that,
you too.
or give me like an old Senna, some like I don't know. Anyways,
Yeah.
But the Senna one was good.
No, I feel that one. Yeah. No, I had beef with the Ferrari livery because I swear the blues did not coordinate, and I told someone that and they were like, "What do you mean? The blues are exactly the same." And I was like, I don't think they are. My eyes could be broken, but
They're not.
I'm pretty sure none of those blues match. None of them go together. And I personally just don't think they work. And I have beef with
Yeah.
that color blue.
The like only big difference was the race suits and that Charles and Carlos pulled up in blue Ferraris.
Yep.
Like big whoop. I don't care about the car they pull up in.
Yeah.
Do you
it was
know, like,
it was just
so
a
there's
soft launch for that HP sponsorship. That's what it
Yep.
was.
Yep.
Yep.
Yep. Do you know, so the company that makes Tootsie Rolls makes like these fruit candies too, and there's a blue
Yes.
one. And
Yep.
if you look up that blue, that's what the Ferrari race suits make me think of. And so I have a Planet Fitness near my house, and Planet Fitness gives the purple versions of those candies out. So every day I go to the gym, I'm reminded of the horrible blue Ferrari suits.
Oh my god, no. Everyone was like,
So-
oh, like the Senna suits makes them look like a piece of corn.
It
I
does.
saw
green
that
on the
they
bottom
were a
with the like
Sprite.
leaves, and I was like, oh my god.
Yeah. Oh,
Sprite,
Sprite
yeah.
or Starry or whatever it is now.
Yeah,
Yep,
whatever
absolutely.
it was.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, I really hope though like Red Bull brings back like for Vegas they did the Elvis suits. I think that is the funniest like race suit choice you could have ever made. Because that's like
the cake.
they're on the podium.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Yep.
Amazing.
Absolutely wonderful. Yeah. No, really stylish. I need more like that. I need the race suits and the liveries. Give me fun. Give me
Exactly.
please. Because half the time, you know what? I'm not going to complain. A lot of the racing has been more fun. I love seeing Lando and Max battle, but I would like give me like the liveries and stuff that's fun to look forward to. Because then if the race, if that week, if it isn't as exciting, you know what? I'm already happy.
Like if it's gonna be a spectacle sport like it is, and it's like we love the purity that's in motorsport, everything that comes with it, but it's a spectacle sport too. And give us something to look at. I agree.
Yeah.
Make it worth my while if it's gonna be a boring race.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, I'm happy. That's why even though Austria was like dramatic, people are like, "Oh my god, there's so much I was like, first off, they'll be fine. Second of off,
and they are now.
It's something like I don't want anyone to get hurt. I don't want horrific crashes.
Exactly.
I do want battling, and battling's gonna have contact sometimes. And you know what? It makes it interesting. So I'm not gonna sit here and complain that the racing's not interesting and then go, oh my god, Max, how dare you? Lando, how dare you? I'm like, you know what? I enjoyed
And
myself.
they're both adults and they got over it within like a day.
Yep.
Like people are like, this is the
Yeah.
end of their friendship. Like it's so over. I'm like, they're gonna call about this like tomorrow and apologize
Yeah.
for making contact. Like
And
People
that's
were
what
like,
they
it's the
did.
next Brosades. And I was
yes,
like,
the Brosades comparisons.
No,
Like
it
it's
is
not that deep.
not the next
it's not
Mercedes.
that deep.
Back up.
Yeah. I was like, one time contact and Lando being sarcastic-ish as usual on camera and
Mhm.
like sad is not the same as the lovers to enemies story that was Mercedes. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
let's not go there.
Yeah.
Let's not. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think by this
You know
point
what?
I've made at least 3 people mad.
And that's okay. And that's
Yeah.
okay.
It's fine.
Honestly, iconic behavior from me.
We're keeping
Yeah,
it real.
exactly. We'll call this episode Sarah Gets Canceled on her first podcast episode.
Sarah comes back to podcasting after 2 months, canceled immediately.
Breaking news.
This goes out to the
Breaking
50
news.
followers
Breaking
who still
news.
choose to listen to us.
Exactly.
Or the 50,
Shout out.
not followers, 50.
Shout out
We've
to
had
them.
50 people listen to our show. Thanks for sticking around.
Yep.
Hey, thank you for sticking
It's something.
around. That's me. Every time I check a post, I'm like, it's something. For my
Yeah.
loyal 400 TikTok viewers.
Oh my god, yeah. I have this
'Cause it
one
doesn't
person
go-
who will
Yep.
like every single one of my stories every time I post. And I'm like, thank you. You know what? Like, is it annoying getting spam notifications? Maybe. But
I
she
appreciate
they've
you.
literally followed me since like the day I started my account. And so
Yep.
like consistently ever since then they've been liking my stuff. And I'm like, you know what? Period. Thank you.
Well, because anyone that does that, I'm like, you are the backbone of my engagement. If a post does well,
Mhm.
it's because of you. Like, so, you know what? Thank you. Thank you to that. 'Cause I
Exactly.
appreciate that. If it doesn't do well, it was probably because they were in bed and didn't like it. So,
Yeah, no, my like first 5 followers were like my best friends because they like convinced me to start it because I was like I don't want to like because okay, if you don't know me, I am a STEM girly. I am not going into motorsports realistically. Like I literally want to be a pharmacist. Putting that out there. But I was like, I hate having so many science classes and no creative freedom to do anything.
Yep. I get
So I
it.
was like, okay, what do I like? And I'm like, okay, I like Formula One. Can I talk about it for hours? Yes. Here we go.
Yep.
There we are.
There we go.
Exactly.
Yep,
And so like they were like, yeah, you might as well do it if it's like keeping you together. And I'm like, yeah, it is.
It is.
It's keeping
This
me
is the only
sane.
thing keeping me sane.
Exactly. So yeah, it's been a big help with that. But yeah, they're always in my stories and like
Yep.
a couple of them are like, oh yeah, like I listen to your podcast when I'm like doing stuff because it's like you're there with me, like talking to me in my ear. And I'm like,
Yeah, I know. I've gotten that too. And I was like, so my actual account that I use, my like TikTok account, used to be my like personal TikTok account, and I blocked people. If I sat there and thought I'm gonna be nervous about this person seeing this, I blocked them.
blocked.
Mhm.
Yep.
And then my Instagram account is new, and I did post like one or two times on my personal talking about it, and then I was like, so there's a couple people from there that know that like saw, and one of them is like someone that I was like really close friends with in high school that now like gets daily TikTok alerts in their email about when I post and things like that. And I'm like, they're like, yeah, like they listen to all the podcast episodes, and I'm always like, this is like I love you for this. I appreciate this so much. But it's so weird to think that you were just like listening to me and but then like they never were like, oh, I love that episode or something. So I'm always like, I hope they like that, because I don't know. Like, but I know they
Yeah.
listened.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know, I was like so scared of like people from my high school figuring out, which they did because I posted it on my main and everyone who follows me is literally people from high school. So like I was like a couple of my friends obviously like they followed the account and I'm like, this is like so awkward every time I like bring it up and stuff because I'm like, you don't know this side of me. Like I never talk about this.
Oh my god, yeah. I have So I am in a graduate program now, and I did have to straight up tell my program director. I was like, so I know that originally the idea was that I was going to go to med school, and then I did tell
Mhm.
you several years ago I didn't want to go to med school, but I had to tell him in the fall that I wanted to work with cars and with motorsports and IndyCar.
Mhm.
I thought, because I work in his lab, my thesis is in his lab, I was like, I am looking him dead in the face and essentially saying, this degree that I've spent to get my undergrad and then my graduate degree, I've spent 5 years with
Mhm.
you, and I'm just going to use the engineering knowledge I have from it, and I don't actually want to do
Yep.
anything with it. Like, I don't,
Mhm.
it kind of bores me now. He was so supportive. And now, but every time a new student tours the lab and I'm in there, he goes, Sarah, will you tell them about motorsports and IndyCar? And I have to go. And I have to go. So, and tell them how I got from biomedical engineering to being a motorsports content creator and wanting to
Mhm.
work in either engineering in IndyCar, like race engineering, engineering on a car, or aerodynamics, not
Mhm.
aerodynamics, um, or that I would love to do like technical commentary in media and continue on
Mhm.
with like social media or doing social media for. I have to tell them that. And so that's just great. He gets very proud every time, but I thought it would be like an uncomfortable conversation. No,
Mhm.
no.
Nope.
And
Yeah.
luckily a lot of the people I know are extremely supportive, like
Mhm.
extremely supportive, to the fact that I'm almost like confused about why.
Mhm.
Like, I'm very happy about it, but like I expected more weird looks than I've ever
Mhm.
gotten. So, I mean, I'll take it.
Yeah.
Like, I'm very happy about it, but I am a bit confused.
Yeah, no. So yesterday so my friend's family owns this like Samaritan Center in my city. And
Okay.
so they holds like a charity auction every year, and I go and work at the auction with them. And so yesterday they like started the raffle, and they didn't have anyone to pull the tickets. So my friend's mom, who runs the whole event, pulls me up
Mhm.
on stage, and she's like, "Okay, guys, this is Avani." And then she immediately goes, if you guys ever want to learn anything about F1, you should go follow her on TikTok and Instagram because her videos are amazing. And I had to like physically turn around because I was like, oh my God. Because the only people in this room were like the top 1%, like the most like the politicians, like the rich, like lawyer
Yeah.
families, like in my city. And I'm like, this is not the audience
Yep.
that's going to enjoy my content.
Yep. No, that's how I felt when my friend was promoting my Instagram account to Connor Daly. Bless her. Love that for me. But I was like, this man probably knows more than until unless I get a job in IndyCar, which I will be applying till I
Mhm.
get there. Like, he knows
Exactly.
more about it than I do. I don't think he wants to follow me for my silly TikToks. But like, maybe he does. Maybe he does.
Who knows? Yeah.
So like on one hand I was eternally grateful, on the other hand it like I have to get over like the fact of like my name actually being mentioned and my handle being mentioned, and that's like my next
Mhm.
hump of anxiety to get over, is like
Yep.
actually introducing myself and like, hi, I'm Sarah, like
Mhm.
I run the Paddock Princess accounts, like that's me. And so hearing those words and then Connor Daly is right there, I was like, I want to melt into the floor. So
Yeah.
that's the, yeah. No, so I get it, because if I was on that stage, I would be like, cool. Can we
Yep.
can we speed this up so I can get off the stage and go
No, yeah, I
cry?
was like, oh my God. Like, I did not think this was going to be my like talking point. I thought, that she'd be like, oh yeah, this is my daughter's best friend. Nope.
Yep.
Mm-mm.
Something
But I was like,
something else.
thank you
Nope.
for the promo to like the 4 children in this room.
Yeah. Yeah. That maybe they will follow my account. Maybe they know what
Maybe.
TikTok
Yeah,
is and will follow it.
exactly.
Yep.
I think kids, like,
Maybe.
too little of kids know about TikTok. Like, why are you 4 years old and have a TikTok account?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And then they have their own memes that I don't understand and that I'm like,
yeah.
yep.
Yeah.
I heard someone say, "What the Sigma?" And I was like, I don't know what this is. I'm so confused. Like,
Don't
I
ask me the
kind of can
context.
guess it.
I
and
know
get
I've heard
context
it.
cues, but
Yeah.
like, but like, I was like, and it's the same thing with like the skibbity toilet. I don't know what
my
this
god, yeah.
is.
Skibbit.
And so
No.
I am like avidly a Gen Z content creator on these apps, and I'm already so like I feel outdated because
That's
I don't
not
know
Gen
what this
Z.
slang is. I can't use it.
Yeah.
I
That is
can't
not
make eye
Gen
contact
Z.
with it.
Don't worry.
No,
That
it's
is
not.
yeah,
It's Gen Alpha.
definitely
I
not.
know that. Like, I'm always
We're in this together.
So I'm like, and granted, that's not my intended audience, but we are in this together. So I at least thought I had a couple more years before I really started being like old on TikTok, but no.
Yeah.
I think I'm officially old on TikTok, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm like
yeah,
getting there slowly. Like I get like the videos of like, what does this even mean? And I'm like learning the Gen Alpha terms from like people who are like roasting them. And so I'm like, okay,
Yep.
I see what you mean now. Why are we saying this?
Yep.
Like,
Well, I don't get it. Yeah, why?
Yeah.
I love that for y'all because like we were making up slang, I guess. And
Yeah.
maybe when I was on Tumblr when I was 12, which I shouldn't have been on Tumblr when I was 12, but I was. So like I can't blame y'all for being on TikTok at like 10.
Yeah, that's true.
I really can't. I as much as I could be like some of these F1 POVs freak me out.
Oh god.
I remember AO3 and fanfiction.net. So I can't really flame you for that so much, but the slang confuses me. The slang that I'm confused about.
Yeah, no, I will admit, like at first, when I first became like an F1 fan, I did fall victim to the F1 POV trend. And I was like, yes, I love this. And then I was like really thinking about it. I'm like, these are real people.
No.
Like, what is this? Like, why am I talking to Lando and I'm pregnant with this baby? Like, where's the correlation here? Like, I'm a little confused. So now every time they show up on my For You page, I'm like, I read like the first slide and I'm like, all right, wrap it up. What is this?
The thing that's bad is I sit there surprised, mildly horrified, and it will still I will still scroll through. It's like a morbid fascination of where I can't look away. That and the like the dream realm, the dream reality, whatever the DR is. I think it's dream reality. I'm not sure.
Something like that. Shifting
but the
and all that.
tweets, the Photoshop tweets of like they're talking to them. I can never look away.
Yeah.
I will scroll through 30 slides of these fake Twitter conversations. So as much as I can be like, this is I'm kind of weird, guys. Like at the same time, you got my view. I thoroughly engaged.
You grabbed
with
my
that.
attention.
Like you did grab my attention. So like, points to you. I'll give you that.
Yeah. But there's some that are like so extreme to the point where they're like funny on purpose, like they're satire clearly. And those are kind of funny to giggle at because I'm like, because it's like Ryan's pregnant and she's driving the F1 car and then she crashes and then Charles stops the race and runs after her. Like, what?
The way that everybody listening to this is gonna know what
lost
you're
the
talking
plot
about.
thoroughly.
Everybody's gonna know.
Exactly.
I won't even need to input
That
this
everyone
one.
knows that one.
They're gonna know which one you were talking about.
Yep. Insert clip here.
You're gonna subject me to that.
No.
I'm sorry. You don't have to.
I did that one time. I said I'm gonna do it, and I did my hands like this, and I had to edit that, and I was like, I'm never doing it again. I would still say stuff.
you just put like, haha, no.
I started doing that. I was like, I would say that I was going to do stuff in the edit and then I would never have enough time to do it. So
Mhm.
it would just be a text block in the default Adobe Premiere text, just no.
Nope.
Every time. Yep.
I'm not
Edit
looking
this
at
in.
yourself.
No.
Like
Mine's just
Yep.
a
Yep.
it's just a jump
Um,
cut. I'm not bothered to like put it any fancy, so it just goes right over our faces. And it's like, you know what? It accomplishes its purpose. The audio plays for those listening in their car
yeah,
radios.
that ones
So we're
are like
done. That's
most
exactly
like
what I did
popular.
for the first
Yeah,
one.
sorry about it.
it works.
Yeah.
You know what?
It
I'm
works,
here for
yeah.
it. Lazy girl editing is my new favorite thing. Yep.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
I
like
don't need
spend
to be
most
Mr. Beast.
It keeps it real.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm good.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. My favorite thing to do in TikTok is like after I'm done, like in post, I'm like going through and I do something like cringe and I'm like commenting on myself like in
Yep.
my like text box and
Yep.
I'm like, this is so funny. I'm hilarious.
If it's not in the TikTok itself, if you go to the
Mhm.
comment section and you see one comment, it's probably me making fun of myself in the video.
Yep.
So,
Same.
yep. Yep.
It's
I know.
always pinned too, so everyone can see that I'm
Yes. Yep. I love doing that. It's one of my favorite things because I'm like, listen, it's either I make a post about that, like a comment about it, or put it in the video, or someone else is gonna do it for me. So I'm gonna
exactly.
beat it and make it funny. Because
Yeah.
if I don't do that and someone notices, I will cry. I will be sensitive and I will cry. So I'm gonna make a joke out of it and enjoy it.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
We want to call it here.
Oh, maybe I'm a little sleepy.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. We'll call it here.
I mean,
I
we've
think
been here
I'm a
for an
night
hour and a
owl.
half.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you got some content to work.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think I'm a night owl, and then I actually have to do anything at like
Yep.
that is actually an issue with the races. Is as easy as it is to stay up till 2. I have so much of an easier time staying up till 2 not on a race day than on a race day. So I think
Yep.
that's the same thing. I was like 10 p.m. easy for me, and now I'm
Yeah.
like I'm ready for nap. Yep.
Yeah.
Well, Sarah, if you want to plug anything, you can go ahead, plug your socials, whatever you want to do.
Yeah, I'm Sarah. Follow me at the Paddock Princess on Instagram and on TikTok. I have some more links. I need to be Oh, you can follow me on Threads. I yap all the time on Threads, so the Paddock Princess on Threads too. I will get Twitter eventually if I stop being afraid of it. But yeah, follow me on there.
We'll put them in the
And
show notes.
yeah,
If you like have a link tree,
Yep,
Sarah, we can
perfect.
put like your link tree in the show
I
notes
do.
or something.
I
So,
do have
yeah,
a link tree.
we'll do that.
I'll send that to you.
But if you guys have any questions, you know our link where our link tree is. You know where our Instagram is. We'll all be tagged. You can follow all of us when this goes live.
Don't
on
cancel
the internet.
us, please.
Please don't cancel me.
Nope.
I'm so afraid.
This is all satire, guys.
Yeah.
If anything, cancel me. Sarah does not deserve to be canceled. Did nothing wrong. It's fine.
I think this whole episode has me been continuously talking about how afraid I am to be canceled.
And that's valid. It's valid.
Yeah, it's totally fine.
We will see you guys in the next one. Thank you, Sarah, for being our first official guest.
Yeah,
Thank you so much.
Lovely to have you. We will see you guys in the next
one.
one.
Thank you for having me.
Yep.
Alrighty.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Oh my god, guys! I love you so much.